Hey guys, Mark here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Sonos Beam. The Beam is Sonos' smallest speaker in its soundbar lineup, and it's priced pretty competitively against its PlayBase and its PlayBar. The PlayBase is $699 USD, the PlayBar is $549, and the Beam is $399. So it's quite a bit cheaper and smaller, but how does that affect the sound? I'll explore that in just a bit with some detailed sound tests, so don't go anywhere. If you aren't familiar with Sonos, let me give you just a bit of a recap. Sonos brands themselves as a somewhat premium solution for smart home audio. In my opinion, Sonos has three really good things going for them. They've got smart home integration, they've got ease of use, and they've got great looks. Sonos speakers also integrate very well together. For example, you can add two Sonos Ones and a Sonos Sub to your Beam, and you can have a decent 5.1 channel setup, although it does come at an incredibly high cost for what you get, and more on that later. But as a whole, Sonos tries very hard to be the one smart home audio solution for all of your needs. All right, back to the Beam. The Sonos Beam is a bite-sized soundbar measuring less than 26 inches and weighs about 6 pounds. This means it can fit just about anywhere, whether it's between the legs of a smaller TV or just on a small shelf. I like the fact that it's compact, but next to a TV like my 65-inch Vizio, it sort of looks out of place. The premium feeling fabric extends all the way around the soundbar and gives it a nice uniform look. If you could remove that fabric, you'll find 4 full-range woofers, 1 tweeter, and 3 passive radiators for generating a little bit of bass. If you want that powerful low end that you can feel in your chest though, you'll probably want the Sonos Sub. On top of the Beam, you'll find 4 capacitive touch buttons, 2 small indicator LEDs, and 5 far-field microphones for listening to everything you say and reporting back to the North Korean government. Nah, I'm just kidding. They're for Amazon Alexa, which is built into the Beam itself. You'd also be keen to notice that the top of the Beam is slightly concave. I'm not really sure exactly why they did that, but it does look a little unique, so I guess that's cool. Before we get into connectivity, I just want to note that I was very disappointed with the mounting options on the soundbar. On the bottom of the Beam, there are 2 holes for mounting the not included Sonos Beam wall mount. This $60 piece of steel adds rear slots for mounting the Beam to a wall or your TV's mount. So with the wall mount, which was a must in my case because the Beam is too big to fit on my small shelf, the total cost of the Beam goes from $399 to $459. All right, on to connectivity. It's fairly simple back here. You've got the power input, the Beam pairing button, an Ethernet port in case your router is too far away, and a HDMI ARC port. Nothing else. No 3.5mm audio jack, no optical audio port, that's it. They do include a HDMI ARC to optical audio adapter in the box though if your TV is older and doesn't have an HDMI ARC port, so that's nice. Sonos wanted to make this soundbar as simple as possible, so the idea is that you have to plug all of your devices into your TV and then connect the soundbar to the TV via its HDMI ARC port. You can then control your volume of whatever device you're using with that device's remote. For example, if I'm using my Roku, pressing the volume up or down on that remote changes the volume of the soundbar instead of the TV. Simple. I have had a few minor issues with this though, particularly with the Roku. If I switch to private listening mode to listen to whatever's playing through my phone and therefore my headphones on, the soundbar mutes itself but doesn't ever want to unmute itself even if I turn private listening off. The only way to fix it is to reset the Roku, which is less than ideal. Once you have your Beam all connected, all you have to do is download the Sonos app, register or sign in, and then connect the Beam to your network, and then you're pretty much good to go. I already have mine set up, so let's jump into the app and see what the app can do. This is the main control screen inside the app. Here you can change the volume of whatever's playing, skip songs if you're streaming from something like Amazon Music, and choose what devices you want to cast the audio to. If you have other Sonos speakers that you'd want to cast the music to, this is how you'd do it. Of course, if you're playing audio from the TV, you can control that here too. When doing so, you also get options like night mode, which sort of tries to normalize your audio levels a bit so explosions aren't too loud and voices aren't too soft, and the speech enhancer, which brings up the mids so that you can hear quiet voices a little bit easier. They're neat tools that I use often in the nighttime so that I don't bother the neighbors. You can also set sleep timers here if you're someone that likes to fall asleep while the TV's on, myself included, because I do that a lot. If you can't find the remote or there's some other reason you want to use the touch controls on the Beam, here's how. The 2 buttons on the left and the right are the volume down and volume up buttons respectively. If you tap them once, you can change them in, small increments, but if you tap and hold, you'll change the volume quickly. The middle play and pause button is, I think, probably fairly self-explanatory, and you can swipe across all three of these buttons to skip forward one song and swipe back to skip backwards one song. The top button is the microphone mute button, and you can tap it once to mute the onboard mics or tap them again to unmute them. As I said before, we also get Amazon Alexa functionality. Sonos has claimed that Siri and Google Assistant support is coming in 2019, but there's no word on exactly when, and they've already pushed that date once already, so don't hold your breath or anything. You guys all know how Amazon Alexa works by now, so I'll spare you the boringness of having to watch me ask her some random questions. Just know that the 5 far-field microphones built into the Sonos Beam has absolutely no problem picking up my voice and responding to me even when there's loud music playing. Now comes the moment you've been waiting for. Let's test the sound. Just a quick note on my setup here. The Sonos Beam is mounted directly below my 65-inch Vizio TV, and the entire setup is inside a very tiny 9-foot by 9-foot room, so you're gonna hear some echoing off the walls and the ceiling, but that's not the Beam's fault. Don't blame it for that. Enjoy.
Do we just leave him? He'll catch up.
This is Planet Earth 2.
So you might not be able to hear it from the microphone, but the Beam actually has a fairly wide soundstage for its size. The angled woofers on the sides of the Beam really project the left and right out to the sides and give it just some nice separation. It's not quite comparable to the soundstage that you'd find on, like, say, a full 3.1 setup though. All right, so what do I think of the Sonos Beam as a whole package? Let's have some real talk for a second, completely unscripted and just me ranting about the Beam. All right, so the Sonos Beam is a great little soundbar, but it's only great for certain people. Let me explain. If you're somebody who has a living room TV and you're just listening to the living room TV through the built-in speakers that are without a doubt terrible, because TV speakers nowadays, and well, have always been terrible. If you're that kind of person that just wants to upgrade those TV speakers to something that's much more clear sounding, has a little bit more bass, and you want it to look good, the Sonos Beam is what I would recommend for you. But if you're somebody who wants a premium audio package, maybe you're looking to upgrade to a home theater setup, maybe you've got a nice big room that you want to fill the room with beautiful sound, beautiful premium high quality sound. The Sonos Beam is not really for you, okay? The Sonos Beam is meant for small to medium sized rooms and for people who are not necessarily looking for the best in audio solutions, but they're looking for a really small package that looks great, that has some smart features, and they just want to listen to their TV in a way that doesn't sound like absolute garbage, because the TV speakers in their living room are terrible. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. If it was, hit that like button and subscribe for more future content. I try and post every week. Sometimes I miss a week because I'm trying to run a full-time job and do this on the sidelines, so it's a little difficult sometimes, but I really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day.